and welcome back to Teletraan 2, and we have a special review for all of you. But before we go any further, two things. First off, my guest, Pokefangirl4.
Hi guys! Woo!
and if you can see from that title, this is not a joke. We are really doing a review on the Transformers Prime movie, Predacons Rising.
Because someone liked it!
And I don't know if that link's still around, because when I did it after I rewatched it and rewatched it again, someone said that it got taken down. I don't know if that's true or not, so again, sorry. But if I can find the link again, I'll put it in the link below, you know, in the description box and all that, if I can find the link. But, yeah, I know the movie isn't supposed to come out till what, October, right?
October 4th, yeah.
Yeah, so we're only, like, what, a few weeks away? But this is, like, super early reviews.
Woo!
Yeah. I feel like I feel like we're Roger and Ebert. We're getting an early screening. That's so awesome. So, yeah. First, also got to give a shout out to Jason Voorhees 2011 for giving me the link so I could share it with my other Transformers fans. Yeah. So, and one more thing. If you don't want to get spoiled early, leave. Like right now. We'll give you a few seconds to clear out. Okay, so I'm guessing if you're still here, you want to get spoiled. So let me say right off the bat that this is not a long movie. This is literally 2 episodes put together.
Yeah. I actually looked at the time, because I had to watch it in almost like 3 parts, because I watched it one night and then watched it when I got home from school, did a bunch of stuff, and then watched it when I got home, and it was like, and for some reason it struck me that it was an hour and 5 minutes long.
Yeah. It is literally, this thing is shorter than the DC animated films.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's short. It's a short movie.
Which makes me believe that this was literally the last 2, this was supposed to be the last 2 episodes of Season 3.
Yeah.
Because it feels kind of, okay, I liked it, but I think my expectations were too high. That's my thing. I didn't hate it. Let me clarify that. I didn't hate it, but I didn't walk away going, that was great. And I have a few reasons why. But I'll go into those reasons a little bit. But yeah, Pokefangirl, what'd you think of it?
I actually really liked it. Just there are certain, I feel like it definitely, because I know that, because I also looked at it from a perspective as, because I believe you told me that the new Transformers series coming out is going to be a sequel to Prime.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing all over the place from you know, networks and a few things. But after watching this, I was literally like, how can you make a sequel to this?
Yeah, but what it was is that I feel like, because they wrapped that up so well, that a sequel might actually be really interesting to watch. Because you think all the loose ends are tied up, but then they find one little open snare, and you can just really go in depth with that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, and I'm like, you could bring in the Quintessons, or maybe do the stuff with Arachnid.
Yeah, and then there's the whole stuff with the Predacons, like, are they gonna make more? Also, I'm gonna say I squealed because they have 2 new Predacons, Darksteel, and the other one I squealed because one of them was Skylinks, and I was like, oh god, don't let him become a Lieutenant Commander, you'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, I was literally like, it took me a second because I was like, Skylinks? I was literally like, oh my god, that's Prime version Skylinks? Sweet!
So I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
I actually got a lot of joy out of that. But one of the things was when I decided to look up a list of the Predacons on the wiki, and when I looked at it, they actually have a very extensive list, despite only having Predacon, Darksteel, and Skylinks in the movie. They actually have, I think they're, although they can't call them Terracons and Prime because those are the zombies, the combiner team that formed Abominus are actually all Predacons, and they form Abominus. So they have a combiner team of Predacons, amongst many others. So I thought that was pretty cool, and to bring combiners into the Prime world would actually, I would find that really interesting.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't actually physically see that. Too bad we didn't actually physically see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the beginning. So it's pretty much Prime telling the Autobots that, okay, we've got some Viacon soldiers that have switched to our side. We've got the warship, and we're basically going to start reconstructing Cybertron. And this is when he mentions the Allspark.
They love that in movies.
Yeah, or as I like to call it, the Uber MacGuffin.
Yeah. Oh, Spark. You know, I do enjoy, though, the aspect of Prime that they do try to put in as almost as, like, many throwbacks to the other series as they can. I mean, you have Vector Sigma, Matrix, the Cyber... I know they're called the Omega Keys, but they're the Cyber Planet Keys from the Unicron trilogy, specifically Cybertron, and as well as, and then the Allspark, which is, I think, predominantly, movie and TFA.
Yeah. That is the thing. Okay, here's where we run into the first problem. This movie tried to do so much in so little time.
Yeah, it needed more time.
And I don't think it should have been called Predacons Rising. I think it should have been called Unicron Rising.
Yeah, another good thing, because it was all Unicron. Like, the Predacons played a part, but it wasn't the Predacons movie. It was Unicron's movie.
Yeah. So, pretty much what happens is that Bumblebee gets knighted. Also, it's still cool to hear freaking Batman Beyond voice Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And we get, that this is more or less Bumblebee's movie. I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah. They bench pretty much they bench Ultra Magnus. Right?
Yeah, that was one thing I was like, Michael Ironside, if he only voices Ultra Magnus for all of 5 minutes before Darksteel takes him out, and all he is just, Ratchet takes care of him. Also, another thing that bothers me, we don't get any mention of Jack or anyone else. You know, these were the only human characters I cared about in the Transformers universes.
Yeah, it's like a fly-by mention of Bumblebee, like, how's Raph, or, like, they had really strong connection. I was actually really surprised that they didn't put the humans in the movie. I was like, there are no humans in this? Like, I was halfway through it, and I'm like, humans haven't shown up yet. I guess there are no humans.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, this is Transformers, it should be about the Transformers, but it would have been nice to at least have, RC or Bumblebee go up to, he's like, so how is everybody? It's been a while.
Yeah, like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying to make it the humans movie, but, I mean...
They've got their own stuff in the show, but, I mean, talk about them.
Yeah. I mean, I remember someone made a passing comment. I read somewhere that apparently there was a throwaway line where RC's talking to Ratchet, and apparently there was a throwaway line where he says that Fowler's Jack's new stepdad.
Oh.
I guess he got with June.
Okay, then. That really means... I didn't even catch that.
No, it's not even the film. It was cut.
Oh, that would explain. Really? That's kind of important.
Yeah, that was cut from the film. I guess for time constraint. But it's a movie. You could have made it a bit longer.
Yeah, it's literally, you're 5 minutes over an hour. You can squeeze in, like, an extra thing.
Yeah. So, more or less, Optimus stations everyone to get jobs, and Smokescreen and Ultra Magnus are sent to go find Predaking. and everyone else is sent to, except for him and Wheeljack, who go out to seek the Allspark. And we get Smokescreen and Ultra Magnus encountering the two new Predacons, Darksteel and Skylynx, and they're both griffins. I was kind of like, I know they're supposed to be based off of mythical animals, but making them both griffins seems kind of meh. I mean, it would have been cool if it was like a chimera or something.
Yeah.
Meh. I mean, but don't get me wrong, but the thing is that Skylynx and Darksteel are kind of regulated to being bulk and skull.
Yeah, they kind of are, which is really a shame, because Skylynx is supposed to be, despite super prideful, very worthy of that pride, because he did earn it.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah, because that was his character and, like, everything.
Yeah, but the thing is like, I mean, again, I know we're saying a lot of negative about this, but this was a good film. There were some great moments in here. I just feel like everything was rushed.
Yeah, it definitely was. I have to agree. Like, I try to ignore the rush part, and I thought it was very, very good. Like, although I was going through the movie, I'm like, alright, who dies?
Yeah. There's also some moments in here with, like, when Bumblebee really shines, like when where him, RC, and Bulkhead find Predaking, lording over the bones of the dead Predacons.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that moment where he's like, I didn't come here to fight you, I wanted to make an alliance.
Yeah, and the way Bumblebee yeah, I can speak English. The way Bumblebee does it is that it's just so perfect. Like he really plays up that Predaking is a king. Like, he calls him Your Highness. He treats him with respect.
He even bows before him.
Like, that's really appropriate and very humbling for, like, especially someone who scrapped Megatron to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's...
Smokescreen scrapped Megatron. He'd be running around there like, what?
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. Smokescreen kind of deregulated into the comedy guy. He's made Bolin of this movie.
Yeah, he very much has been Bolin.
Yeah.
In fact, the only serious scene he has is kind of towards the end.
And it's more or less throwaway.
Yeah, and it was really a shame.
Yeah, he was like, that was the point, like, when they were building up in that four-parter of just saying he could have been Prime, and then he was like, oh, I wasn't meant to be Prime. I said no to it and saved Optimus. And after they did all this character building with season 2 and some of season 3, you think Smokescreen would have a bigger part in here.
Yeah, it'd be like, it's supposed to be that he's grown up, but then you have him sitting in Megatron's throne, like, dancing, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Better than that.
Now permit me to do talk about where Starscream and Shockwave have been up to in Super Friends announcer voice. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, Shockwave and Starscream are pretty much trying to build a new Predacon army. It ain't going so well.
That worked so well the first time.
Yeah, I guess if it's broke, I guess you could fix it.
Yeah, I guess their idea was, okay, let's not let this one name himself and have so much power. Let's just make these guys like our punching bags.
Yeah. So they're trying to build a Predacon army, and also Megatron's on Earth, underwater. Doesn't that remind you of a terrible Transformers movie? And he's resurrected by Unicron.
Again.
Again. And Unicron pretty much takes over Megatron's body and makes him into not Galvatron.
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, are we gonna call him Galvatron yet, or is that not a thing? Because he looks like Galvatron.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that was the thing. I mean, I literally, the whole movie, I was like, that's not Galvatron. Or, better yet, I can't believe it's not Galvatron.
yeah, Unicron. Okay, how long is it before we have Galvatron on our hands?
Yeah, I guess this is the closest we'll get.
Although I was never a fan of Galvatron, I feel like his crazy took away the cunning that Megatron kind of had. Because while they were both good-ish leaders in their own right, I felt like Megatron was better just because he would actually plan things out. Well, yeah, I felt Galvatron kind of rushed.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty much...
Then I have to remember that Megatron also built a giant purple griffin.
Yep. But...
You don't understand. G1 was a work of art. No, I'm kidding, but...
But yeah, the thing is that, okay, so Unicron turns Megatron into not Galvatron, and he takes off in Megatron's body, flies off towards Cybertron with the full intention of Unicron is pretty much like, Primus is now awake, and now I have the perfect chance to kill him.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
And Megatron's like, whoa. You want to kill the world I died for.
Exactly, and plus, meanwhile, Wheeljack and Optimus are in space, and it's a cool scene of Optimus trying to find the Allspark, but it's kind of, again, that scene between Wheeljack and Optimus is just kind of rushed, because everything else is kind of happening.
Yeah, like, everything is happening at once.
Yeah. But getting back to also what's happening is a mutual favorite Transformer of ours, a certain red former Decepticon. Knockout gets a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I was actually rather pleased with that. I really like how he was, and because I loved his final line in the third season, but the fact that there was more after that left me like, well, where is he?
Yeah, and here he is, locked up with some other Viacons that didn't change sides. But
even though he said, I'm joining the winning side, no, Nico's gonna punch you in the face.
yeah, Primus said, knock you out.
Yeah, that was pretty much what she did. Like, no.
Yeah, but pretty much, Knockout plays a good part in here, trying to help them find Shockwave and Starscream, and we'll just skip to this. He becomes an Autobot.
Yeah. And the way it happens is just because Starscream is the rudest, is being Starscream, and because one of my favorite parts was when Starscream was like, oh god, there are zombie dragons. No, the frag out of here, and just goes to take the warship back. And it's just like, I laughed. I'm like, yeah, there's Starscream.
Yeah, and then Knockout knocks him out, pun intended, with the immobilizer. Not using it, he cracks it over Starscream's head.
And then you realize, only because Bumblebee was like, that's not the real immobilizer, but it was, and now it's and then we got the gag. Knockout, we needed that!
Oh, you mean this was the real immobilizer? And then he switches sides, and everyone's all like, okay, we're cool with that. But then again, with with Unicron coming, and also, Unicron also realizes that Megatron's not much of a body, even though we get some cool stuff with him, able to channel Dark Energon into weapons like a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I love the action sequences in here. Those are really well done, especially like when Unitron, I guess that's the best way you could call him, or Megacron, fought Predaking. Yeah.
Giant silver crown with a bucket on it.
Yeah. Also, Predaking is awesome in here.
Yeah, he was. He was done very well.
Yeah, I love like his expression when he finds out there are two more Predacons alive.
Yeah, he looks surprised. It was just a really great scene.
Yeah, and then when he found Darksteel and Skylynx and he found the entire grave desecrated, he was literally like, if we can't save them, we need to put them back. Because what Unicron does is pretty much he makes an army of undead Terracon Predacons.
Yeah, and it was like, that was when, because it was, again, I understand why Starscream read, because he's pretty much terrified of Terracons as it is after the whole episode with them. Yeah, now they're all giant, like, mythical beasts. And it's just like, I'm done. And Shockwave's just like, not logical.
Yeah, he is literally scared. There was a moment when he's surrounded by Predacons, and then they all start swarming. I was like, did I just see Shockwave die?
Yeah, I was like, is he dead? Did Shockwave die? But then he was alive a few scenes later, and I was confused.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, you know what? I don't need it. It's Shockwave. He's survived worse.
Or he could be a zombie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like he survived a ground bridge explosion. I'm pretty sure he could survive. I don't know. There's a possibility there's logic to surviving that explosion. How did he get it past all those swarming Predacons?
Because he's Shockwave?
I guess.
I guess the only... I'm not the logical one. Like, he would... Literally, Shockwave would probably just be like... I like illogic as compared to logic, so he'd be like... I am, like, anti-Shockwave at times, so... It's like...
Yeah. But the thing is, like, getting back to Predaking real quick, when Skylynx and Darksteel meet him, is like, hey, he's like, who made you our boss? And he's like, I'm not your boss, I am your king. And that he teaches them why he's their king.
Yeah, he asserts his dominance. He just... Heat! Albums them into the ground. I was like, whoa. Because that was one of my favorite scenes, where I'm like, well, that's how they do it in the wild. Because it's like, it's almost like the biggest lion taking control of the group.
Yeah. And he's a giant 60-foot dragon.
So it's even worse. It's like, as compared to the two griffins.
Yeah. And they play a good part in here, playing like the first line of defense. It is... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I like that that it was like, yeah, our world's gonna, yeah, I liked the way they handled that, like, allow someone better suited to do the job, takes off after all the zombies.
Yeah. My thing is that, again, everything felt too rushed, like they were trying to close so many chapters, and Optimus doesn't show up again to save the world, or to save all of creation from Unicron till the end. And it's a quick fight, actually.
Yeah, because I think the most moving part of the fight was when, like, it looked like Optimus was gonna, like, die, and then make it, whatever, can't move because Bumblebee's got him trapped with the gravity propulsors. And I'm like, oh. Like, that was, like, but it felt rushed because you couldn't really feel the danger.
Yeah, that was the thing, and, but yeah, at the end, like, and also how they defeat Unicron was just like, MacGuffin.
Seriously.
What they use is, okay, here's what happens. Optimus empties the Allspark into his body, and then...
It's not known to kill you.
Yeah, it's totally not going to kill you, or bite you in the ass. But what happens is, he uses it and then absorbs Unicron's spirit into the Allspark and then casts it away. And when he's captured, apparently all the Terracons die, and somehow the
I'm just like, alright, here we go, Phantom Menace style, they're all gonna die right now.
Exactly. And then, when the Predacon, I thought the Predacons all died, they all survived.
Yeah, I was like, where did they go? Yeah, because I'm like, alright, if they got into the core, where did they all go? Like, because I don't even know what happened to them, because I couldn't, because there was, like, no time, I'm like, oh, they're alive.
Yeah. And then towards the end, this isn't one of the best scenes, is when Optimus reveals that he's been merged with the Allspark, and there's no other way. He's merged it with the Matrix of Leadership, and he can't separate it from it. The only way to do this is to merge with Primus.
Shit.
And,
See. Which,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
All right. And then there's like the moment where he says, "There can no longer I am the last Prime. I can no longer transfer the to a new Prime." Yeah. So what did you think of that?
It seemed like a smart idea to me. Like I'm like Optimus. Like you couldn't really have found a better place to put the Allspark. Like you, $20 says you knew exactly what was gonna happen. I feel like he just wants to be done with this and let a new age take it. But I feel like his answering was like, "Why can't you people let me off the line in peace?"
Well, this whole sacrifice scene reminded me of Beast Machines. Remember that?
Yeah, that was it. That.
Yeah, it reminded me of when Optimus Primal died.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it reminded me of that. Because I felt like it was a little bit like I feel like I knew Optimus was gonna be dead by the end of the movie because they didn't kill him off before, and they always kill off Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bingo for Transformers.
Yeah, just like, alright, let's see how many times Optimus Prime dies. The free space is the first movie.
Oh, that was perfect. But yeah, I liked how that ending went of Optimus sacrificing himself so all new life can form on Cybertron and telling them all, you don't need a leader. You are your own leaders.
Yeah, I did like that. I mean, I feel like making it that there were no primes a bit of a problem, but that opens up that they can now have, like, the council. The Autobot Council.
Yeah.
Which may or may not go over well.
Yeah. And also, let's talk about what happened to Megatron and Starscream real quick.
Okay.
Megatron just gives up after Unicron's defeated, and you'd think he would just be like, nothing's changed. I was like, this is how they're going to do the sequel series, and then he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, that was like, I was like, did the war just effectively end without killing or capturing Megatron? Because I was like, because the only time I've ever seen that done is in fan fiction. So I'm like,
Well, technically it did happen in Armada.
oh, it did?
Well,
I haven't seen Armada all the way through.
Well, what happens is that the Autobots and Decepticons team up to fight Unicron. Sound familiar?
Always Unicron with the Unicron. This is why it's called the Unicron trilogy.
And then this is an Armada where Galvatron kind of, like, he considers working with the, making peace with the Autobots, then sacrifices himself to destroy Unicron. And it was kind of led to a unification between the Autobots and Decepticons at the end, after Galvatron dies. But, if I remember right, because it's been a while since I've seen Armada. But Megatron just quitting. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't hate it, but it's like I just feel kind of ambiguous towards it.
Yeah, I was like, did he just? I mean, like, and I understood his reasoning. I normally have no care towards like hurt and pain they put Megatron through because he is literally one of the people. He holds the title of like the slag maker and stuff. Like, he's not a nice guy, but to watch him be put through like that suffering with the eye laser being super weird, but still, like, you could see the pain, like,
Yeah.
like the fact that even Unicron called it his eternal suffering. I'm like, yo, that ain't cool.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, even when he died, like, now I know how oppression feels. Really? That's the wake-up call? And then he goes on to just fly off, and the Autobots don't stop him. It's literally like, wait a minute, he still has a lot to answer for.
Like, no, he still committed war crimes. Like, all of them.
Yeah.
Times, like, 1,000. Just like, I feel like they were just too tired, and we're just like, no, we're getting them later. We'll get them later.
Yeah.
Also,
Starscream, oh, poor Starscream.
Like, one of the weird things was, at the end of season 3, I'm like, the way he reacted to Megatron's death, I'm like, are they boyfriends now? I'm like...
Well, the thing is like, it's kind of... It's kind of weird that he's now like, we're going to conquer Cybertron in Megatron's name, and like, you can make yourself, if he's gone, why are you not being like, all hail Starscream? Not until like he goes back to Darkmount.
Yeah, I guess maybe he wanted the satisfaction of tricking Megatron into thinking he was loyal and then stabbing him in the back again, because we all know how well that works.
Yeah.
Every time you try it.
But yeah, what happens to him when he gets back to Darkmount? He finds the Predacons there waiting for him.
Who beat him into
The sad thing is, Starscream becomes Predaking's chew toy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Screamer's dead.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go on a limb of what happens to Screamer when that cutaway scene happens.
Yeah, which actually, that made me sad. But no, if the sequel, we're getting the Ghost. We are getting the Ghost, and we all know. I would be very surprised if I didn't see. Well, not surprised. I would be very disappointed if we didn't get Starscream's Ghost.
Yeah.
Because this has been one of my favorite incarnations of Starscream, and he's fun.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me, is that Prime has some of my favorite incarnations of Transformers ever, like Optimus and Megatron. Well, G1 Optimus you can't compare, but Prime Megatron is my favorite incarnation of Megatron.
Yeah, I can agree with that, because he, like, feels like the most rounded character out of all the Megatrons.
Yeah, not to mention the most brutal.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But again, when everything is all said and done, they pretty much wrap it up in a nice little bow. Yeah. Again, I don't know, like, they could be saying, oh, it's a sequel to Prime, kind of like as much as Jeff Loeb said Avengers Assemble is a sequel to Earth's Mightiest Heroes. No, it's not, Jeff.
As much as you want... Well, yeah. I mean, they try to fit it in with that one click back to the magic. I didn't actually watch I haven't seen Earth's Mightiest Heroes yet. I need to.
Well, the thing is that they have so much, like, they try their best to say that that Avengers Mightiest Heroes and Avengers Assemble are connected. The thing is that there are so many continuity errors that it's not. But I feel like they just threw that scene in there just to be like, oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it, so if I watch that and then watch Avengers Assemble, I'm gonna be like, oh.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. That's all of it. There were a few other things, but I think we just got pretty much the gist of it out.
Mm-hmm.
So on a whole, Fangirl, what did you think of this movie?
I liked it a lot. I wish it had more time. I expected it to have more time, but for what we got, I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. I liked it, but I think my expectations were too high. And there was a lot of things that were rushed, and the ending just made me go, how are they going to continue this?
Yeah, I was like, you kind of wrapped it up there, but they all have a lot of things they can work with. They can work with what happens in the future, with, like, maybe the next generation of Autobots. Maybe they have a council led by Bumblebee, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because Bumblebee and Ultra Magnus will be in the council. That's all you need.
Exactly, and you could even have, like, I don't know, maybe you could say, like, there's a way to bring back the Primes. You could say, like, you could have something to say, like, the Matrix of Leadership somehow separated, even though Prime's gone, the Matrix can be salvaged.
Yeah, and you know what would and we get a whole, like, almost new generation. I would love to see them all be older. Like, I would love to see Smokescreen as, like, an older mech with acting, just sitting there playing cards and cheating and winning.
Yeah.
Because that's, in G1, that was what Smokescreen was. He was the gamble.
Yeah, the thing is, like, obviously, like, who would be the next Prime? Would we honestly want Hot Rod?
If they do Hot Rod well enough, I feel like, the thing is, I feel like if Rod Rodimus had more, not Rod, well, if Hot Rod had time to grow up a little bit more, I feel like he would have been a better leader.
Yeah.
He seemed almost like a teenager to me. It's like, I felt like they took a teenager and then trapped him in the body of a late 20-year-old. I'm like a guy in his late 20s, like expecting what seemed to be almost like a 17-year-old guy, like, and expecting him to be this great leader.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like he was way too young, and that's how I felt about Smokescreen when it was like, no, don't let him be prime yet.
Having said that, don't get me wrong, guys, I do like this, we do like this thing, it's just that it felt rushed, and it was a very good ending, but again, I feel like a lot of things should have been a little more explained. However, having said that, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Liked it, but I think my expectations were too high, and everything felt a bit rushed, and yeah, I would have liked to found out what happened to the humans.
Yeah, that would have been nice too.
Yeah. But again, like what you were saying with Hot Rod, I think it would, like, we build, like, Hot Rod. Don't make him, like, the Korra of this new series, if you bring in Hot Rod.
Yeah, like, I'm feeling like, introduce him as, like, one of, like, in Bumblebee's or Smokescreen's position. Like, just this rookie green kid who's new, probably on this team of experienced soldiers who would probably consist of mostly people of the original team.
Yeah, or even, like, under Cup's command.
Yeah, and Coop. I always call him Coop. He's not... Yeah, under Cup's command, like, I would like to see probably RC as...
And Springer.
Yeah, and Springer. And I feel like, out of the original series, I would like to see Bumblebee on the team, just because he's Bumblebee.
Yeah. And maybe even, like, when he becomes... like, you could have it, like, in Season 1, Hot Rod becomes Rodimus at the end, and Season 2 is him learning to be Prime, with Ultra Magnus as his, like, advisor.
Yeah, don't, have him learn, because that's what he's got to do. He needs to learn.
Yeah.
Not be thrown into a position, and then it's like, have a nice day, we're gonna... Because, no, I think I haven't seen all of Season 3 of G1 because I skipped around a bit. So I feel like a lot of the time he's just stubborn and confused and needs more help that the series just couldn't give him because they were trying to sell toys.
Right.
And I feel like in a sequel to Prime, he could get that time and development and help that he needs.
Exactly. That's the thing. That you could do that. Again, we don't know what the hell's going to happen with this sequel.
For all we know, it could be like a Beast Wars thing.
Yeah.
That would... And it would explain why there are Predacon bones everywhere. Aside from the fact that they're supposed to be the ancestors.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe we could get some Maximals. Like, were there Maximals?
I would like to see Maximals.
Yeah.
I would like to see Rat Trap and Dinobot.
Although technically we do have Dinobots in the Prime universe.
Yes. Because it's connected to the games, and they have mentioned them.
Yeah. And apparently...
They also mentioned Fusors, so...
Yeah.
Ratchet, when he was, like, delirious at one point, did mention a Fusor, so...
Yeah. The thing is, like, in the comics of Transformers Prime, it focuses on Grimlock and the Dinobots. And it's basically them going around trying to find Shockwave to kill him.
Well, sorry, the zombies may or may not have beaten you to that. We don't really know.
Yeah, it's just pretty much, I'm Shockwave. I survived a zombie invasion.
Again. I don't know where the again came from, but it happened. I was on the moon.
Yeah. Anywho, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. This is a good movie. Did I hate it? Absolutely not. I did not hate this film at all. So, yeah. Anywho, guys, once again, as always, for our famous saying, "Till all are one." And pretty much, yeah, that's the end. Go home.